Hey, it's Bruce Feldman. Pleased to be joined this week by Oregon star quarterback Bo Nix. He and the Ducks have a huge game this weekend with their arch rival, Oregon State, for a spot in the Pac-12 title game. Bo, thanks for joining us this week.
Thank you for having me.
So it's been an amazing ride for you. You got left Auburn, came here, and I want to ask you, let's get this out of the way quick. Obviously, you got banged up a little bit last week. How are you feeling? Do you feel like you're good to go, or are you going to expect you to be close to 100% when you play the Beavers?
Well, not sure about 100%, but I'll be good to go. I'll be out there doing what I can, and I'm just thankful to be back playing, be able to play. I've been sidelined permanently in the past, so I'm just proud and excited to be out there on the field with my teammates.
Let me ask you before we get into the actual matchup, but for you, you played in huge games. Obviously, you played against Alabama every year when you were back at Auburn. You played against Georgia, played against all these heavyweights in the SEC. What has it been like for you to play on the opposite side of the country?
It's been different, but it's all relative. I think I've been a part of some really cool venues and atmospheres this year. One of them being Autzen. I think that one was pretty cool. We got to play in some really big time games there with some really ranked teams coming in, and we've been able and fortunate to play those guys. So I think that, like I said, it's all relative. But I played in some really fun atmospheres this year.
How do you think you've grown since you've been in Oregon?
Uh, that's a really loaded question, but I think just um, I mean, everywhere I've grown as a person, been more independent, been able to find out a lot about myself, just being out here and having to depend on myself. I got to get things done that I could have relied on other people to do in the past, and then just from a football standpoint. I've grown a lot with just at the position at quarterback. I've kind of made strides in really every part of my game, in preparation and playing and being consistent and efficient. I think that efficiency is where I've learned probably this year is the most valuable. Just keep ahead of the chains, stay consistent, put yourself in a good position each down.
We had your offensive coordinator, Kenny Dillingham, on here probably a month or so ago, and we talked about your development and evolution. And one of the things that he gave you a lot of credit for was he said, while you're a perfectionist and I want every play to be perfect, that you've really become much more open to channeling kind of your demeanor into sometimes checking down as it can be the best thing for you. How hard is that as a young quarterback who sees it and is trying to be as good as you can be, guard against sometimes your own instincts?
Yeah, it's all about just experience and the more feel you get being out there. And I've grown a lot and been able this year to have a lot more chances of throwing the ball vertically down the field. And when those chances come, it's kind of easier to throw check downs because you're going to get another chance maybe a few plays later. So you don't have to get it all in one play. So that's helped a lot. And I think that just as far as consistency and seeing the field and knowing angles and knowing check downs, that's been really good.
Who was the quarterbacks that you really looked up to when you were a young quarterback before you got to Auburn?
Quite a few guys in the league. Like Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, some of those older guys. And then when I was young, got to watch guys like Johnny Manziel and Cam Newton and Tim Tebow, who I looked up to in college, just from college quarterback standpoints. Obviously, a lot different from their style of play, but it was just fun to watch those guys compete and succeed on the field.
As a young kid playing, obviously your dad was a really good quarterback in the SEC and then as a coach. But when you watch maybe Johnny, and Johnny was a big deal, probably I'm guessing when you were in like middle school, and that style of play, does that the kind of thing where it's like, man, it'd be cool to play like that? You're trying to kind of make, because you made those plays. I remember last year you had a huge third down conversion. I think it was at Tiger Stadium. It was definitely against LSU, where it felt like that kind of changed the game. So you obviously have that in you. Where do you find the balance in the moment?
That's another good question. I think that sometimes you're given a chance in a situation to do that and to go out there and make a play. But at the same time, defenses have evolved and it's tough to kind of scramble around all the time and make those big plays. But it's important just in our offense to stay consistent and usually within our offense, there's always like an outlet or a check down. So it's not like everything is just always covered and there's nowhere to throw it. So you just got to run around and buy time. But Johnny definitely changed the game. And I've done a few things like that before in the past. But this year I've got had a lot of time in the pocket, have receivers out there getting open. So I haven't really had to do any of that.
Your relationship with Kenny Dillingham goes way back. He was an Auburn guy. I don't say he's an old Auburn guy because he's actually not that much older than you are now. But for people who don't know, what has been the trust factor and how big of a role, if at all, was he into your decision to come to the West Coast?
Yeah, well, I think comfortability was important. Wanting to go and play for a coach who wanted me and knew my skill set, and I think that together we've just done a really good job of communicating and putting the right thing on the field. I understand what he wants within a play, and I'm also able to check us into different plays and the plays that he wants to get in based off of a certain look. And so he's like definitely trusting in me when it comes to that point and when it comes to that situation. And I trust that his plan is going to get us in the right direction. And so whenever I see something, he trusts me to let it loose and check it and go to the next play. And a lot of the times, fortunately for me, it's worked this year. So he hadn't necessarily taken it back from me.
Do you really buy that he's up in the press box eating popcorn or no?
No, I believe just from how he is at practice, I know up there in the box he's locked in and he's up there watching it and preparing for the next play. And I know that because when I come off the field, we have a lot of dialogue on the headset, and so he's always locked in. What's next? What are we gonna go to next? What play is gonna be up? And he always has a plan, kind of for the first few plays of a drive, and then he just kind of gets in a rhythm and he rolls from there.
Coming to Auburn, you were a five-star kid out of the Elite 11, had a lot of attention, and hit the ground running with a big win over the team you're playing for now on national TV. I think it can be challenging, I imagine, for younger quarterbacks who are in the spotlight so early, and then it's almost like, I don't want to say people are set up to fail, but you're set up to at least get, it comes with the territory for people to take shots at you, and especially when you've played a lot. How fulfilling, it's got to be a human nature thing, has it been to get this, second act here in this stage of your career, to be thriving on this stage, to turn the program around, to have a chance to win a Pac-12 title, to, I don't want to say get the last laugh on people maybe who took shots on social media or any of that, but just from an external standpoint, how does that made you feel?
Well, I think when you look at that kind of situation when somebody starts their career kind of quickly and fast and has that big of a high, it's hard to kind of duplicate that week in and week out. So the expectations were set, and then like I said, it's tough to always do that as a quarterback because the other team is trying to win too. And in the SEC, you play really good competition, and it's just tough. It's all relative. And then here, I've been fortunate to be around some really good players and really good scheme that set us up to be able to play potentially for a championship. And that's all you want. That's all you could ask for going into a season, is just to have the opportunity and have it to be on your shoulders and for the ball to be in your court. But all we got to do is just go out there and continue to execute and do what we're supposed to do. And we could be playing for that championship. And so that means a lot to us. I know as a team that's been one of our goals. But it's just been a fun year. It's been fun to have that success and to be able to do it with the guys in the locker room with great mindset and great attitude, and love those guys that have had my back all year and have allowed me to do what I've been able to do.
So much of the sport seems like it's next man up or on to the next thing or 24-hour rule. How much have you allowed yourself to really enjoy and appreciate what you guys are doing, what you're doing in the moment? Just to kind of maybe just savor what you can savor while you're living it.
Probably not enough, to be honest with you, because that's just the nature of college football. Just like the other day, I thought to myself, like, wow, did I really catch a touchdown pass? Like, I've never done that in my life, and I got to do that a few weeks ago. And so things like that, you probably don't have enough time to celebrate, and they're just kind of here and gone, and you're on to the next thing, unfortunately. But it's been good, but it's also been tough because once you do it, you got to continue to do it and continue to go out there and put good product on the field. Because, like I said, once you set that expectation, it's kind of expected for coaches and for players. So we've made it tough on ourselves, but we've set the standard high, which I think is a really good thing. And I'd rather it be like that than the opposite, because you can always go back and kind of appreciate what you've done, but you never want to settle and get complacent either.
With Oregon State coming up, they're having a really good year. They obviously gave USC all they could handle earlier in the year. What do you think it will take for you guys to win this game and then to get that spot to play for the championship?
We're just gonna have to go and play really good football. They're a really good team, really good defense. They're one of the best statistically in our conference, and so we know they're going to present us with a lot of challenges. And so we got to go out there and be efficient and execute and not kill ourselves. We got to be able to sustain drives and put drives together and go down and score in the red zone, with touchdowns and not as much field goals. And we got to be able to kind of hold field position, own the ball, and just hit the chances that we have. When it's there, when the shots are there, we got to be able to hit them, and then just continue to be aggressive like we have in the past. And Coach Dillingham is going to start there, and he's going to do a really good job of being aggressive, allowing us to play within the system. But it's going to be a good hostile environment. We're excited about it. And this is another one of those games. You come to Oregon to have a chance to beat Oregon State and to play for a championship. So we're really excited about the opportunity, and we definitely don't want to let it get away from us without focusing and doing the best we can at it.
You guys have a different style offense than the Trojans, but how much did you study or have you studied what they did to Caleb Williams? And it seemed like they really got those guys off rhythm for a while.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily watched that whole game. I've watched some specific formations and cups from that game. But I just remember that I think they even outgained them offensively. So that game could have been a little bit different. But obviously, USC, they did what they had to do at the end of the game, to get the win. But obviously, both those teams are really good, which is why they came down to the wire. So we know what we're going to have to do. We know the challenge that is in front of us, but we're excited about it. We have played in some tough atmospheres, some tough environments, as well as some really good defenses. So I feel like as best as we can, we've kind of been preparing for it. But the real thing is going to be a test on Saturday.
Well, it's Thanksgiving week. You're going to be a long way from home. I would ask you, what is Bo Nix most thankful for this year?
Wow. That's a really good question. It's hard to name one specific thing. But I'm thankful for all the people right now that are directly involved in my life, whether that's coaches, teammates, support staff, family members, anybody that I'm around, talk to on a regular basis. I'm extremely thankful for the season that I've had, the people that I've been able to be around. Oregon has really changed my life, and it's been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And so I just appreciate and I'm thankful so much for the people in my life, as well as the opportunity of the season that I've gotten, because it's been nothing short of incredible and amazing. And like you said earlier, one of those questions is I really want to enjoy it and live in the moment and be here where I am right now, because you never know when things change, how long you're going to be able to have this kind of stuff. So need to enjoy it while it lasts.
All right, that's a great message. And well, have a great Thanksgiving and good luck this weekend. It's been fun to watch you guys, especially been really fun to watch you out here on the West Coast. You guys have really done some amazing stuff.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you too.